One of the hardest hit industries from Japan's earthquake is its massive auto industry. Plants from all the top car makers have been shut down, some affected directly and all likely to be struggling with power outages. So what are the broader implications? I spoke earlier with Dan Thompson, the Chief Executive Officer of Nissan Australia, based in Melbourne. Dan Thompson, welcome to Late Line Business.
Thank you.
Can I ask you first how much you know about the Nissan staff in the affected areas?
Yes, certainly, Tiki. Since late Friday afternoon, we've been in constant contact with all of our Nissan Australia employees traveling in Japan. Plus, we have a handful of employees that are on long-term assignment. And obviously, over the weekend, pleased to say that all of our employees are safe, and so are their families.
And what about the Nissan staff employed directly in Japan?
Yeah, certainly the information we're getting out of Japan that's coming every day since Friday has confirmed that there are no direct casualties of Nissan Japan employees, but certainly the impact on the broader Nissan organization is tremendous.
Indeed. Tell me a little bit about how the operations have been affected up there.
Yeah, certainly we're fortunate to have global headquarters at Yokohama, which is several hundred kilometers away from Sendai, but certainly with production facilities all up and down the coast. Probably the greatest direct impact has been many of our production facilities, especially those closer to Sendai.
So I gather you've got two plants that are currently down. Is that right? How quickly will the plants be operating again?
Yeah, we currently have 6 vehicle assembly plants that are down, 2 of them north of Tokyo that are more severely affected and will be down at least until Friday. We expect the other 4 vehicle assembly plants to be operational tomorrow.
And you've got, I gather, 2,300 vehicles that were washed out by the tsunami, and they were awaiting shipment for export.
Yeah, that's our understanding, that there were several thousand vehicles that were on wharf ready to be loaded onto vessels. Those are not Nissan Australia vehicles. I believe most of those vehicles were destined for the U.S.
Right. Goldman Sachs is estimating that Toyota's profit will be cut by 6 billion yen. That's about $72 million for each day of lost operations in Japan. And Nissan, they say, may lose about a third of that. Is that about right?
Oh, I think it'd be impossible for me to say, sitting here in Australia, what the global impact would be. Certainly, we're at the end of our fiscal year or financial year, so as far as publicly released financial results, we certainly should be secure for this financial year, but it will have a tremendous and significant impact going forward into next financial year, which starts on April 1st.
What sort of effect is this all going to have on Australia's distribution?
In the short term, we're quite solid and quite secure from a vehicle inventory perspective, and it'd be really difficult to say at this stage what the medium or longer term effects will be. We're still getting information probably every 4 to 6 hours as to what the extent of the damage is on the supply chain. Like I said before, the impact to Nissan assembly facilities we talked about before, but probably the greater impact will be just the transportation and logistics. Parts suppliers that undoubtedly have been tremendously affected also, and it's just way too early to say what impact that's directly going to have on us here in Australia. But certainly in the short time, we have sufficient stock on ground and sufficient vehicle and parts supply on its way to Australia.
And this, of course, all happened as the sector generally was climbing back onto its feet in Japan. Is the car industry, do you think, expecting any specific assistance from the Japanese government? I've been hearing about some sort of mini-budget later in the week.
I would suspect that the government will not only support automotive, but certainly will support trying to get the economy back on its feet as quickly as it can.
I know your head office is having rolling blackouts, as so many of the industry is up there. But I guess the whole chain of production is the challenge for you, as you were saying, all the way through to the ports. I mean, how long before they will be functional for export both to Australia and all over the world?
Yeah, and I think it's not just one area, like you said, and it's certainly, in addition to the wharfs, it's the supply of energy and electricity into the plants with rolling blackouts not only at headquarters but up and down the coast. And on top of that, the unknown condition of all the suppliers into the factories.
Well, Dan Thompson, I thank you very much for joining us. I know it's a very difficult time. I look forward to talking to you again about GTRs and Leafs in better times.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Thank you again.